Hello, Sun Lakes. I'm Anita Lawrence, your Good Day Sun Lakes host, and I'd like to welcome you to Coffee with the GM for the month of March 2025. Christopher Mitchell, the Sun Lakes General Manager, is here to answer questions of concern and of interest to the community. So, good morning.
It's been a while. Good morning to you. How are you doing? Anita Lawrence is the world traveler at Sun Lakes. You've been on several trips, and we think I did our filming in November. You've been on some trips.
Yeah, November was the last time we got together.
Yes.
We went to Antarctica the latter part of November, came back in December. Antarctica was just amazing.
Yes.
I would go again. It's otherworldly. So if you've ever thought about going there, you should go.
Nice.
Because it's just a mind-blowing kind of trip.
Excellent.
Yeah, I would go again.
And
wore my sweater today with the snowflake, hoping maybe we get some snow down here.
Maybe there's a weather storm or weather system coming in during this time of filming. So yes, we could have some, but we'll see. We'll see.
Well, we have several topics to
welcome back.
talk about.
Welcome
thank
back.
you.
Yes.
Yeah.
We do have several topics.
I'm going to be here till September now. So
okay.
In September, we're going to go celebrate our 50th wedding anniversary.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah.
Excellent.
So let's get started on our questions.
Let's do it.
Compass Hospitality, or CCL Hospitality, the new food and beverage department vendor, held a town hall yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Of importance is the transition from First Residential to Compass, when the food and beverage department will be closed from March 27th until reopening on April 7th. Can you give some details about the transition period?
Yes, we can. So, Anita, as you said, and I think it was announced, April 1st is when CCL takes over. Now, during any type of transition, there has to be some things done before the transition. I use the analogy, you can't go one day as a McDonald's and open up the next day as an In-N-Out Burger. Not saying the restaurant's going to be a hamburger joint, but there's a transition that takes place. And so what we need to do is, that's the 26th of April, 26th of March. That is a board meeting day. That will be the last day that First Service will operate the food and beverage operations. There will be happy hour as well. Big hurrah for the happy hour. The next 2 days, what has to happen is a full inventory count must be done, so CCL knows what inventory, what value they have for the items. There'll also be some deep cleaning, but also we have to do is transition the employees out of First Service and prepare them for working with CCL. That means the 31st, which is a Monday, their final checks are handed out, all the tips are in there, all their hours are accounted for, and they're paid out. Because April 1st, those employees come in and they will have the team jersey of CCL. Still some working for Sun Lakes, but they'll be CCL employees. Now CCL has to put in their POS system, has to start training the staff on how to use that system, how to train the back of the house cooks and everything on the new menu that they'll be working on. So there's things that we're taking out the old POS system, we're taking out the computers, we're doing the inventory, cleaning up the facility, ready for CCL to come in. But CCL needs time to do that training. So from the 1st until they open on the 7th, there'll be training going on in the background. So that's key. We've got to have a closure, unfortunately. I know that will affect some members, but it's needed in order to provide the best service for the community beginning April 7th. We've got to make sure that CCL is able to hit the ground running, that the employees know how to do the credit cards, what buttons to push for the meal, that the back of the house knows how to present the food, what's on the food, and if there's any options with vegan or vegetarian, what options are we going to do? So there needs to be some work behind the scenes. And so we ask that the community be patient during this time because we really want to put out, CCL First Service, the board wants to put out a great product for the food and beverage operations beginning April 7th.
Okay. I'm excited for April
7th.
Yes,
Yes, indeed.
breakfast.
Yes, breakfast starting at 7 a.m. that Monday morning. So, Yep.
Okay. During the transition period, how will this affect clubs such as golf clubs who have organized luncheons planned?
So we've been fortunate, confirmed with Linda and Letty. Letty's moving over to CCL, but she's still the banquet coordinator. There aren't events happening during that time that are going to require the lunch service. There will be water stations if there's some little snacks or something that's needed. Recreation's going to take the lead on that during the transition. During the transition from first service to CCL. I know CCL after April 1st, there may be some things happening with events, and CCL is going to be working with those clubs or groups of how do we accommodate that in order to have something for those events that are happening. So after April 1st, CCL will be working on that. During the transition, though, first service will have recreation on that Friday and Saturday, music under the stars. There'll be some non-alcoholic beverages, some snacks that can be purchased for cash. The only time cash only in a long time. But we're going to try to accommodate the members and the clubs that are having events during that time.
Okay, this kind of answers the next question.
Okay.
One of the clubs will be having their annual show on April 5th and 6th. How will this transition affect them as far as having any kind of service?
So I understand, talking with Letty, that they are working on providing something on that 5th or 6th event, some type of beverage services, alcohol, maybe some food. I don't know the full details because CCL is going to be doing that, but I do know that's on their radar as a big event that's happening, and they're working to try to accommodate that group that is coming in so that there's something for those members.
Okay, yeah. All right, will Compass Hospitality be providing catering services at the North and South clubhouses? And if so, can clubs continue to also use approved outside vendors for catering?
Yes, I think that was covered yesterday during the town hall. CCL said they will be working to provide the option for members to order from the restaurant for events in the North or South. But they are going to have to work for it because there are clubs and groups that want to have their approved vendors. And we've allowed that, and the board will continue to allow outside vendors at the North Clubhouse and at the South Clubhouse. So there's several out there that have worked with clubs and groups. They'll continue to be welcomed. And what it will be CCL's job to do is how to gain that business, how to gain that trust at a price point and a deliverable that satisfies those members and the clubs and groups. So stay tuned, but you can still, if you're having an event after April 1st, North or South Clubhouse, you can still have your outside caterers come in and serve food.
Okay, wonderful. House accounts will be returning with the new food and beverage company. If there is a problem on the billing on the house accounts from CCL, who should members contact to fix it?
That's a great question, and at this time I don't know. Members might remember that First Service and the board worked together. We eliminated the house accounts for the general membership. There were several issues behind that. Cash flow, collectability, small claims court actions, and that became a burden really on cash flow of why the board voted to go away from that. Now I know CCL will be bringing that forward. I don't know how it's going to work, who does what, where it's going to come from, who is the main contact. So that's something still to be discovered. And I think they talked a little bit about that at the town hall, that it's still an unknown of the logistics part of how that's going to work. So day one when they open, it will be credit card only. They're not going to be able to have that house account up beginning April 7th. So more to come on that.
Okay. As has been discussed, the acoustics in the lounge are very bad. What is happening with getting that fixed?
So Jason Ewalls has led the charge with an acoustical engineer, the sound man, so to speak, I would call him. But what it is when we did the lounge expansion, or the board approved the lounge expansion to move forward, there were sound absorbing tiles up in the dome. The dome is really the main part of the issue, that sound bounces all around there, and it's horrible. You hear conversations from a mile away, but not the conversation that's right in front of you. So we had to, during the last part of the inspection, take those sound panels down. The reason is that the fire department said the sprinklers cannot be obstructed and they have to be removed. And so Jason began working with an acoustical engineer. That engineer has determined there's several options that can be done. One is putting the panels back, but extending the sprinklers through the panel so that the water would not be obstructed in case of a fire. There's also options on the walls that can be done, and that will be presented to the board in an upcoming executive session. We've had a good vendor that has been patient working with Jason on this. It's taken some time because we want to make sure it's done right, and those findings will be presented to the board. The board then will ultimately have the choice of what option do they want to do, and then direct staff to do that.
All
So
right.
more to come on that.
Okay. Street repaving is going to occur in April through the early part of May. Where and when will this work be done?
Okay, so that's a great question as well, and I actually had some times and everything. So the goal, and I'm waiting for the vendor to submit their maps of the streets affected, because I want to make sure I get that out ahead of time with the Good Day Sun Lakes team so that they know what streets are affected, where and when. We do know that the concrete work will begin April 16th. That's where they start looking at the sidewalks and addressing the concrete. Then they'll start doing dig outs April 21st to the 23rd. And then phase 1, milling will occur April 24th, and paving will occur for phase 1 on April 25th. Phase 2, milling will begin April 30th, and paving will occur Thursday, May 1st. So you're looking from the 16th of April, probably about till May 5th, May 6th, that there'll be work done. More details to come on which streets and what days, what streets are in phase 1, what streets are in phase 2. The vendor has it. The Sun Lakes uses a third party to project manage this, who is an expert in pavement management. They also have those maps, and we'll be getting that on our website, and probably doing an Anita Lawrence update before, so that we can make sure people know what streets are being impacted.
Okay. All right. The automatic doors
Yes.
at the main clubhouse open automatically when motion is detected.
Yes.
Can you talk about what is happening with those doors?
Yeah, even when the ducks go by, the motion opens up. So this has been an issue. I will say I've been here now 8 years, and this has been an issue since day one, since I've got here. And I think you've sat up there selling
Yep,
tickets or
I
something, and it's warm inside, that door opens and it stays open, and that cold air freezes you. You can't move for the next 5 minutes as you're thawing out. Then you start to sell a ticket and that door opens again and you're frozen. Vice versa, when it is hot, same thing. It's nice and cool inside. All that cold air goes out when that door opens up. So the board is looking at, and staff has been tasked to look at options for some type of sliding door. Now, members who have gone down to the South Clubhouse probably have seen that accordion door that has been put down there to, again, open, close. It's faster, more efficient, and effective. That's something that we're looking at for the main clubhouse as well. We have some quotes that will be coming to the board at the next executive session, and it will be the decision for the board what option they want to do and when they'd like to begin. And so that's coming as well. That's a big thing that I think is exciting, because again, that is a problem we have there. And it's very simple. Change out the door. It will cost some money, but I think it will benefit the staff and the people who visit the main clubhouse at that entry. It will be much better.
Yes. I don't know how Chelsea stays there all day sometimes.
There's
It's
heaters
very
or there's
cold.
fans. I'm her, and then the people who sell tickets or items or information that have to sit right next to that door. They're troopers for sticking through that.
Okay. The master board is still in negotiations with Spectrum for a new contract. If they decide to stay with Spectrum, will the same programming be included? And how about internet speed?
So my understanding, now staff has not been involved with this negotiation, but my understanding, speaking with the board and an update, that they are looking to keep the same equipment. I'm not quite sure about that, because they may have to change that out with a bulk internet and increasing the speed. I understand the goal was to increase speed. The goal was to increase channels where possible, and that's what I know at this time. I'm hoping that the board will have an update at that March open session and provide a community update on that. So But I know the goal was, speaking with one of the board members, to increase speed, increase channels, and tried not to make it complicated with this transition.
Okay. Well, we've come to the end of our questions. Is there anything else you'd like to cover today before we wrap it up?
I think, as always, I ask that message to management, please use message to management when you have concerns. That is through the website, the main website. There's a button there, sends an email off. Or if you just would like to write a note, we have little cards up at the main clubhouse reception desk where Chelsea is. Fill it out, drop it in. One other thing is that I know sometimes things break. And so if it's something on the outside, like a water issue, call the main gate. That's faster than message to management, because if there's water leaking or something, main gate will know. They have a list of who to call if it's irrigation, if it's a gate issue, construction. So call the main gate. If equipment's broken in the clubhouse, in the gyms, there are cards up there that you can fill out, and recreation staff are in charge of that to make sure they go through and identify, oh, we've got a card. We do inspections, and once a month going through the facilities to make sure, is the equipment working? Is there a problem with that? So again, communicate message to management. If it's outside the offices and the water or something, call the main gate. And then again, for equipment, recreation handles that, and their cards in the gyms. I think that's just a more communications options for the community to know about.
Okay. Well, one additional thing I'd like to mention, in addition to the many hats that I wear around Sun Lakes, I'm also a district delegate.
Yes, you are.
I want to encourage the residents, and I know your district delegate would say the same thing. Please vote in the upcoming election.
Yes.
Your
Yes.
voice needs to be heard, and the only way to do that is to vote. So, thank you for joining us today. I hope that Chris and I have been able to answer some of your questions, and I look forward to he and I look forward to answering more of them when we get together the next time. So I'm Anita Lawrence for Good Day Sun Lakes and Coffee with the GM.
Cheers.